Now then, how are you? Welcome to Bennett's Kitchen. This is Beyond the Block, episode 1. You'll know we've moved into his new factory now. We've had a beautiful new kitchen, sponsored by Splinters Kitchens, a good friend of ours. And what the aim of the game is to try and educate you people who do not know how to cook meat. I don't want to supply you, I want to educate you, I want to look after you. I've brought in a good friend of mine, Harry Johns, from Holy Mountain Kitchen, who knows a damn sight more about cooking than me. I'm going to provide the meat. I'm going to hand you on to this guy who's going to show us how to make it into the most beautiful dish. And every week we're just going to come along with a new dish, a new dish, a new dish, until you're fully educated and you can feel confident about buying meat every single week. So Harry, we've got a beautiful leg of lamb here. Obviously, you'll put a better twist on it than me. For me, it's just straightforward Sunday dinner. What are your plans for it? What are you going to be doing with this one?
Phil, I'm actually going to agree with you completely because it's a beautiful leg of lamb. I think just keep it simple for this one. I think it's a big bit of meat, loads of seasoning, in the oven, bed of chopped onions. We'll have a little gravy, a little caramelized onion at the end of it. Really simple. What's that, hour and a half in the oven?
Yeah. The reason for doing this show is, believe it or not, out of all the stuff we do on social media, Facebook, and how passionate we are about selling meat, the number one question in anything is, how would you cook it? So this is what this is about. We need to, I think it's an educated guess that people 40 years and under just have very, very limited cooking skills, and especially with meat.
I think it's a scary, I think a leg of lamb is a scary thing when you don't totally know what you're doing with it. Do you know what I mean? It's a big bit of meat. Get a roasting pan. And first off, I think I'm just going to chop a load of red onions. Just going to top and tail a few onions. Red onions, white onions. Honestly, I don't think it matters. Real rough chops. So, Phil, tell me a bit more about this lamb. Obviously, like, Easter's coming up. This is a perfect Easter meal, right?
It is a perfect Easter meal. This is actually a New Zealand leg of lamb. I know I harp on a lot about British farming, stuff like that. But one of the things that doesn't sit with me, and people can take this however they want, is I don't eat spring lamb. I think it's too young.
Yeah.
And I only believe in stuff that's had a real good extension at living and being given a good chance. I actually like lamb best when it's coming into a hogget form, which is sort of like coming out of being so young.
A couple of red onions chopped real rough. It doesn't even matter if there's some skins on there, if I'm honest. Red, white, whatever. Then we're going to take this. All that's doing is we're going to make a gravy out of the red onions here. They're going to caramelize because obviously with a leg of lamb, like you know best, it's a longer cook, it's a slower cook. So all the sugars, all the natural sugars are going to come out of those onions. We're going to add a little bit of red wine, a little bit of bits at the end, but we don't have to worry about that right now. So look, it's a big old, we need really generous.
What is the reason for salting it? Are you trying to get a bit of hydration out of it, or is it just seasoning?
You know what? That's interesting you should mention that. Yeah, I'm not, in this case, I'm not trying to get any hydration out of it. I'm just going to season it. It's a big piece of meat, so it's going to need a lot of seasoning, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't really overdo it with a roast. I think sometimes people are too prim and proper. Sometimes you just gotta suck it and see and get
100%. Just get it on. Loads of salt, loads of pepper.
Like my mum used to say to me, if it doesn't taste right, just drink more.
So, Phil, you mentioned hogget. Tell me what that is. I don't think I've heard that.
Coming into spring lamb, it's obviously the new season spring lamb, which it is nice, it is good, it's this out, but a hogget's something that's coming out. It's more like coming from being a teenager into a man, because it goes from spring lamb to hogget to mutton.
Right.
Mutton
okay,
being old. You know, a lot of people, mutton's lovely meat, miles more tastier than lamb. But if you roast it like lamb, it'll be tough. You got to cook it slow.
Real slow. Olive oil. Garlic, just give that a rub around. It's all going to fall apart, but it just does not matter at all. Like this is what I love about this way of, really simple way of doing a leg of lamb, is it's just simple. 3 ingredients, 4 ingredients in a baking tray. Get that in there, sound.
So I mean, if you want in lamb to literally, to get to the point where you just literally turn it and bone falls out. You cook it a lot longer, a lot slower, and put like a basin of water in it with foil over the top. It create a bit of a tent so it's steaming it as it's cooking it. If you like your lamb a bit blood red and pink, you'd blast it in, put 220 into it, 25 minutes to probably 35 minutes, then turn it down to 160, take it out after about an hour. So it just depends how you want it. You can cook it however you want.
Well, I say let's do it the second way. That's the way that was in my head, like traditional, old school Sunday roast lamb. So we've got roasting pan, we've got your beautiful leg of lamb, we've got heavy salt, heavy pepper, heavy olive oil, rough chopped onions and garlic, and right now, that's ready to go in the oven.
So how about that? It's easy.
Get it in there, lad.
Job done. Right, we've had a bit of a tidy up. The lamb's ready for action. The pièce de résistance is here.
It looks really good. So there we go. So look, as you can see, the onions have gone a little over, but it's honestly not the point of why they're there. So the onions are something for the lamb to sit on, so that all the heat can get all the way around the piece of meat. But then also it's going to impart flavor, and then all these beautiful meat juices are going to take in all of that onion taste. So what we're going to do now, whilst that's resting, really important, is I think we're just going to bash out a really quick, easy gravy, just using the juices, using the pan juices, a little flour, and a little bit of cheating as well. And first of all, we're just going to tip all of this out into the pan. So that's just pure flavor. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a little pinch of flour.
Does that thicken it up?
It's just going to thicken it up. This is exactly right.
Whisk.
Thank you, sir. And we're just going to move this around. Takes absolutely no time. And I think that people don't often realise how easy it is to make a really good gravy.
There's a lot more to than just getting like a packet into and pouring it out. If you put a bit of effort into it.
Absolutely, but
It's different class.
I am going to say something that might shock you. Because I actually don't think there's too much wrong with a little bit of packet gravy if you add it to it. Exactly,
I
exactly.
won't say that, but you can sort of like jazz it up, can't you, a lot better than just putting boiling hot water in some.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just gonna take that off the heat, let that do its thing. Now I'm just gonna take a little pinch of.
There you go. You see.
Just a little bit like that. Sound. There's nothing wrong with store-bought dried gravy at all, but if the fundamental flavour has come from this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is just going to add it, and it's also going to make you're going to be able to stretch it out more. You know, you're just going to get more gravy. And then if you've got some veg stock or chicken stock or whatever, just add that to it. If not, just water's fine. Intermittently adding a little bit of water, reducing it down, a little bit of water, reducing it down, keeping all the flavour in there. I don't know about you, but that looks absolutely perfect.
It does, yeah.
Spend a good 5 minutes on it. You've got to cook the flour out. You don't want to taste flour.
No.
You want to cook the flour out.
Do you ever add any of the old into it? Yes.
Yeah, come on then.
There she is.
Nice.
Look at that. Now it's quality.
Now we're getting
there she goes.
And what we've got to remember as well is we've spent hours taking all that lamb flavor, all those beautiful onions, all the seasoning that we put so much effort in at the beginning of the process. We might as well use that in the meal, you know? That looks unbelievable.
So let's have a look at her. Oh, you've cooked it perfect.
Is that all right?
Yeah, it's perfect for the neutralness. I prefer mine slightly rarer, but it is cooked to perfection.
It's a nice colour, isn't it?
Yeah, perfect. Bennetts Super Sunday leg of lamb. Top quality gravy. What more can you ask for on a Sunday?